Have you ever been just hanging out in your backyard, talking with friends and family, having a great old time, doing some grilling, and all of a sudden you look over and you just see smoke billowing out of the vents of your grill, and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Ah! So you open it up and smoke is just billowing out everywhere. Flames are shooting up. You can't even see what you're cooking. You're like, oh my God, I ruined everything. You slam down your grill lid. You close your vents. You're like, what do you do? Well, I'm here to help. Today I'm going to talk to you about two-zone heating, indirect and direct heat on your grill to help you succeed in your backyard grilling. Hi, I'm Jeff from the Grill Outdoors, and today I'd like to talk about two-zone heating and direct and indirect heating on your charcoal grill. So today I'll specifically be talking about the Vortex and the Weber briquette holders, and also just pouring charcoal directly into your grill. So I'm not going to use live charcoal when I show this because that's a lot of work and my fingers would get really hot if I kept moving things around and they might burn. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the Weber briquette holders. They come in sets of 2, which is very stylish and functional. More functional than stylish probably. So I'll put a link in the description of this video in case you'd like to check out any products I talk about today. So you would set, for direct heat, you would set these right in the center of your grill. You'd fill them up with briquettes, and then you'd place your top grill grate over it, and whatever you're cooking, you would set directly above it, therefore allowing the heat come directly at it. This is more what I would use for like burgers, steaks, stuff like that, to get a nice quick shear, thinner cuts of meat. So there you go. And if you're cooking low and slow, say you're doing a brisket or a pork butt or something like that, like a bigger piece of meat, you can also use these for indirect heating, where you would put the charcoal in this one and this one, and then you could have a reservoir here where you might want to put a pan with some water in it to just keep moisture in there as you're doing a low and slow cook. Again, you'd put your top grill grate on, and then you would put your pork butt or your brisket or possibly even a ham in the center here, and allowing the heat to come up to the sides of it. And the reason you want that with a low and slow cook is if it was sitting directly over the briquette holders, the heat would just be coming into it and you would get the exterior of it cooked way before you'd get the interior cooked. So this way it acts more like a convection oven. So the heat is just coming up and circling over what you're cooking. Pretty straightforward, but man, it's a game changer. When I first started, I would just dump charcoal into the grill and I'd be cooking burgers or like a chicken breast with skin on it, and flames would be going all over, and I'd be like, ah, what do I do? So this is what you do. Also, if you are doing this and you are cooking burgers over this using direct heat, if they start to flare up, this creates your two-zone heating too, so you have your hot zone and your cooler zone, so you can move the burgers off to the side too to reduce those flare-ups. And then once the flare-ups are gone, if you need to, you can put it back over. Same thing with chicken breasts or other cuts of meat as well. So, all right, I hope that makes sense. I'd also like to talk about the Vortex. This is pretty new to me. I haven't used it a whole bunch, but man, it is pretty killer. It's pretty awesome, and it's multifunctional, has lots of different things you can use it for. So say you're cooking a steak, you would put this in the middle of it. Again, fill it up with coals, not necessarily all the way to the top, but what happens with this Vortex, it just creates a lot of heat coming straight up through here. So if you again have your top grill grate on and you put your steak on there, you're going to get a sear all the way across it in like a minute on each side, and just really make it juicy and awesome. You can also use this way for indirect heating. So again, if you had your charcoal in here, you got your grill grate up here, you can line it up with chicken wings around the outer edge or something like that. And then when you put your lid back on, your heat is coming up and then it's circling back down, heating everything up. And it just does it better, like if you're using indirect heat on the side and you had your wings over here, your heat is coming this way. But if it's coming this way, it's encompassing everything and really creating an even cook. And using that method also gives them a really, really crispy skin. Delicious. Man, I really want to make chicken wings now. So even by putting your Vortex in this way, you can still use it for direct or indirect heating depending on what you're cooking. The beauty of these is now you can turn it that way, and it also has two different uses this way. Again, for instance, say you have a bigger piece and you're cooking, like say a pork butt or a ham again, you can use this as the indirect portion and this is the direct portion. So again, you can line the whole periphery with charcoal and put what you're grilling, or smoking I should say, up here in the indirect heat, again on the grill grates with your cover on, and you're creating heat and smoke flavor coming from these directions again. So pretty awesome. And what you can do is layer in a few wood chunks in here as well, so you're getting that wood smoke flavor coming into it as well. You can add the wood chunks in the other ways too. So that's pretty awesome. Another great way to use the Vortex in this position is to make beer can chicken. You can actually take the chicken in the beer can or the beer can stand and have the chicken actually inside of here. Gives you a lot more room when your lid is on, and you line the periphery again with coals, perhaps wood chunks if you like, and then you're creating more of a radiant heat, again with your heat coming up and over and coming back down into your chicken to kind of give it that feel of a rotisserie chicken, but not really being obviously a rotisserie chicken. So that's some tips on the Vortex. You don't need a Vortex or briquette holders to create or use two-zone heating on your grill. You can just put the charcoal in and spread it out as necessary. So let's pretend that our charcoal is heated up. Let's pretend I have gloves on, safety first. Let's pretend sparks are flying. All right. So you can take your handy dandy grill grate and spread them out. So when I was first starting, this is what I would do. I would spread out the charcoal like this, and then everything would start on fire, and then I'd freak out. With age comes wisdom, and experience comes wisdom as well. I'm old and I'm experienced. So again, to create say you're doing a low and a slow cook, you could pour your charcoal in and then just push it off to the sides of the grill. And again, let's pretend like the water or the grill grates are up here. You could put a tray in there with water, and again, you could have what you're slowly cooking up here. Say you're smoking a pork butt again, or a ham. I would probably spread these out a little bit better, but that would be the general idea of it. So again, you have your indirect heat here, low and slow, with your direct heat coming up and encompassing it. Another method of two-zone heating is if you raked all your charcoal over to one side. Guess I could have picked them up because they're not really on fire, but we all enjoy watching Jeff use a rake, don't we? So this is a lot of times how I'll set up the grill when I'm making burgers or chicken breasts or something of that nature. What I like about it is I can get the burgers over here, put them on, let them cook 2-3 minutes on each side, flip them over, they get that nice sear on the outside. And then if they're getting too hot or they're flaring up, you can just move them over here. It's pretty great. I also, once the burgers are done, I can move them over here to keep them warm, and I can throw my buns over here to get the buns nice and toasted. This also works great if you're doing steak. You can do a reverse sear or a normal sear, and regardless of which direction you go, you can put the steak over here, you can get your nice sear on it, and then you can move it over here and bring it up to temp. Or you can cook it first over here, slow, get her up to temp, come over here, do a reverse sear on your coals. So it's pretty straightforward, pretty awesome. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and feel free to subscribe to my channel. Appreciate it. All right, man. Peace out. Be fabulous.